Hello and good morning. Let me get my camera a little better. There we are. Good morning from chilly Pennsylvania. Hello, my name is Shar Sethman. Let me get this. So I can see all of your comments here. If you're hopping on, say hello. Let me know you're here. Today we are actually going to make a large bumblebee swag. So that's what we're going to be working on. I know there's a little delay here, so just watching the delay, seeing how much of a delay. For some reason, YouTube has a little bit longer of a delay than. Good morning, Jennifer. Good morning, Tina. A little bit, YouTube tends to have a little bit more of a delay than like Facebook does. I don't know why. I'm getting kind of used to this. So let's get this down in here. I think I picked up the wrong deco mesh, but we're going to work with it. I just ran out to the store this morning because I didn't have any yellow. So, but it's a let me see what I picked up here. I must have picked up the wrong one. It's the poly burlap mesh. That's why it feels different. My favorite mesh that I have come to really, really love is the fabric mesh. Oh my goodness, I love that stuff. It's so soft. It's so easy to work with. I love deco mesh, but I really love the fabric mesh because it still has a really good hold to it, but it's soft. So I love it. Okay, so this is just some of the ingredients we are working with here. I don't know what I'm going to use, and I usually don't. I just kind of get a general on what I'm going to get my colors out, what I'm going to use. Sometimes I use it all and need more. Sometimes I scrap things along the way. I usually kind of get a general idea in my mind. Good morning, Jessie. I usually get a general idea in my mind on like what I would like to do, what I think it's going to come out as. And sometimes it's close and sometimes it's not. But we are going to do a very large swag today. If you've seen the Easter Bunny one, it's posted over on my group page and on my personal page. If you've seen that one, you know it's going to be large. It's like 36, almost like 3 feet long. To some people, that's a little large. You know, I'm a go big or go home kind of girl. So that's just the way I do things. I try to start out small, and somehow along the way I end up ginormous. So that's just my tendencies. So I already know this is going to be a large wreath. The base that I'm using is large anyways, so that's where we're at with that. So here's some of the ingredients. We're going to kind of set these aside. I'm going to work on a few wreaths here today. And I'm also in the middle of doing 2 wooden door hangers that I have to get out. But I really wanted to do this wreath here, or this swag. So here we are. I figure I'll do it with all you. No, Jennifer, I still cannot go live. And they have not even emailed me back. So which I'm very upset about that, because I've not gone against any violations. I do have I am an admin of our church group. Good morning. I'm an admin of our church group, of our church website and Facebook page. And every week we get violations, every single week. They say I've been violated on there, sent a violation for the kids singing their Christmas program. Stupid things like that, but it's every single week. So I think they kind of are flagging me for having so many violations, but we don't even play music on there anymore, simply because we were violating the music. So then we stopped doing that. So our praise and worship doesn't even go on there anymore. Then we have a solo artist. She sings almost every service. They violate us for that. It's just, it's always something. So I don't know if that's the reason that they are shutting us down, but it's just insanity. Okay, so here is the actual Wreath swag form. When you get them, they kind of come to me like this. So yeah, they are 36 inches from top to bottom. So that's what these end up being. Even if you were to tuck in the tail and still put something at the end, which sometimes I do, they end up being that. I think next time when I order, I still have a bunch of these to do, but I think I'm going to order some of the smaller. I think they're 24 inches. They make it easier to ship too. So, but when I get these, I just kind of, now most of you know, if you've ever worked with Christmas swags, you kind of just got to fluff these guys out. It's like a tree. You just, when you get it and it's packaged away, it looks horrible, and you just got to fluff it up. So that's what we're going to do. But I just kind of get this all pulled out. Yeah, so I get tired of every single, let me get this fixed here. Every single week being flagged for violations. It's so dumb. Like, I don't even know what constitutes their violations anymore. Like, what, I don't even know, I don't even want to be in their mind. That's why I'm really trying to just maybe do YouTube. It's not censored, and it's been here for years, and hopefully they stay that way. Because Facebook definitely is biased. They're politically biased. They are biased with things that go against their beliefs. I don't care if you are a conservative. I don't care if you are a liberal. I don't care. We live in America. We are supposed to where we are supposed to be able to have freedom of speech, freedom of choices, not just those that go against what your platform says. And it's ridiculous. That's the part that gets me. We could still be friends. I don't care. You believe your beliefs. I believe mine. Your religious beliefs are yours. Mine are mine. My political beliefs are mine. Yours are yours. But geez. I mean, it's just ridiculous. And with them being such a big platform, it's ridiculous that they want to have control of what you say or what you think. Like Facebook, before it was stock, they had stocks put up when it was just a platform. They were a whole lot better, let me tell you. But now, there's money to be made with that. You know how money gets people. Okay. So when you're purchasing swag forms, wreath forms, things like that, don't be afraid of color. You know, because you can find these online, craft outlet, things like that. And they come in all different colors. Like you can get them in purple and green and the normal green. Then you can get them in like a lime green and orange. Don't be afraid of that. It actually will enhance whatever whatever you're trying to create. So here we go. So as you can see, this is going to be large. Just all fluffed up. It does not have to be perfect because we are actually going to use deco mesh in it. You got a violation for making a joke with a friend. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't understand their logic. It's just, so I'm trying to not move from it, but I'm trying to have other avenues that work just as well, such as I've had YouTube forever. I've never used it for any lives until just recently when they will not let me go live on their page. So, would like to get over on TikTok. So far, TikTok seems to be okay. Hopefully, I don't think they're owned by Facebook. Could be wrong. Because it seems like Facebook has their hands in everything. Okay, so we're going to move to, now that we got that fluffed up, I'm just putting it aside. I actually want to get my bow made. Because that's usually the next thing. I always kind of, not always, most of the time put my bow in, or at least know where my bow is going. So that's usually my second step of anything I do, whether it be a wreath, a deco mesh wreath, whether it be a grapevine wreath, whether it be a swag. So that's what we're going to do. I chose kind of all of these Bumble Bee inspired ribbon. And just to let you know, if any of you are looking for ribbon and you have a Sam's Club membership, most places now have their spring ribbon out, which a lot of this ribbon, you cannot beat the pricing. They're like $8 a roll and you get 50 yards. Like, this is the time to grab them when you can get over there. If you can, it is so worth the money. I get so many of my nice ribbons that I use year round from Sam's Club. Okay. All right, so I want to have some really, really, really long tails, okay? Because I would like to kind of bubble it down, I don't know, poof it, I should say, down over my wreath. So I'm literally going to make these tails. Usually I only make them about 12 inches, maybe even 14 at most. I'm going to put this literally to the ground, okay? And then I'm going to work from there. I can always cut off. And, you know, when you have these kind of swags, you can always add to them, like conceal them a little different. Okay, I can't do this one because it's too big. But this just makes it easier when it's all attached. So I'm going to start out with, that's a pretty big wreath, so about a 7-inch loop. If you have never used the Easy Bow Maker, you don't know what you're missing. It is a learning curve in the beginning because I really struggled with learning how to use the Easy Bow Maker because I was like, that is not easy. But once you learn to do it, it changes everything. And I truly mean that. But I couldn't use it for the longest time. I did not know how to use the Easy Bow Maker. So we're going to start out about 7, and then what I do is I just work down in about inch increments. And good morning, Jennifer. And I like to do about 6 ribbons, 6 different colors, or just 6 layers. I don't care if you go back and you have a favorite ribbon and you wanted to put it in twice. That's fine. I've done that several times. Also, another little tip is get yourself some boutonniere pins or some straight pins with some like beaded heads on them, and tack your wires down in, or your ribbon down in, because it just makes it so that it doesn't unroll, whether you stick it on a shelf, or I have like a shoe rack that, a big tall shoe rack. It's about 6 foot tall. And I put all my ribbons there so I can kind of see them. I have to show you guys one of these days. My last, if you've seen my bunny, I love that guy. I was having a hard time deciding on if I wanted to sell him or not. And I ended up kind of keeping him for now. And I know probably when I decide that, yeah, I'm ready to sell him, it's going to be too late. But I just love him. So this is another Sam's Club. This one here, this yellow that I got, it kind of has some striping through it. It is a Sam's Club one. So I haven't even taken him home yet. He's just sitting over here in my shop. So I use a lot of 2.5 inch ribbons. It's my favorite to use. See, look at this one. This one's from Sam's Club. Can you see like the little striping through it? Almost kind of like a plaid, but not a plaid. So 2.5 inch ribbon is my favorite. So I use a lot of that. So when I notice when I tend to buy ribbon, and I was looking this morning, I'm like, oh, I got a lot of 2.5 inch, but I don't have a lot of 1.5 inch. But it's okay. I use a lot of 2.5 in my bow. I just think it tends to make a really fluffy bow. And you don't, and I'm going to show you because I don't have a lot of stuff. I remember when I first started wreath making, you know, I didn't have a lot of stuff. I didn't have a lot of ribbon, and that's where I'm saying that you can repeat some of the bow. I don't care if you just had 3 different colors and you wanted to do 3 with a repeat. That's fine. Because that was how, when I started out years ago, and I've recently just started doing a lot of, oh, did I have not a thing in here? A lot of wreaths lately. So I've noticed that I'm looking for more ribbon. Hold on, I'm going to get a straight pen. So when I first started, I really was only doing, like, maybe had 3 ribbons. And, oh, it looked like my daughter texted me. So I just did a repeat on them, and that's okay. That's totally fine. Use what you got. It's okay. This one here I'm excited about. I have not used this one yet. This is a new one. This is from Sam's Club, and this was... I got to go over to Sam's Club today because I have not been there since they put out the ribbon, I think yesterday. I've been waiting for it, but I did order at the very beginning. They had it that you could order some sets online. So I grabbed some because they've been out, displayed all of their ribbons for months, for like 2 months in some other places. But can't use that one yet. Let's use this yellow one, sorry. That's a 1.5 inch. And I tend to do my 1.5 inch a little toward the front. So let's use that one next. Do I have enough of this? Ooh, I'm going to be close on this one. So I need to go over to Sam's Club today just to grab some more ribbon. Okay, we're not going to have a bunch of this. So let's make this tail not as long. Nice thing about these easy bow makers is you actually can add like greenery, flowers, floral into this, into your literally like right into your bows. When you pull them up, it is already in there, which is nice because a lot of times I'll add them and I'll kind of just stick it through my bow. So let's make this the same size as the last. So they're fun to work with. But I've been doing a lot more, I don't know why, but I have been, a lot more wreaths and swags. And I think the biggest reason is because it's just that time of year. Spring, really honestly, is the best time. It's even better than Christmas for like wreath sales, swags, things like that. Any of your floral decor. Because I think the reason being is at Christmas and Thanksgiving and fall, you have so much abundance of decorations to put in your house. And then, you know, you take all that down and then it comes springtime and you don't have like all the stuff that you had in fall. You just don't put that much stuff out. Most of the time it's like a wreath on the door. And then maybe just something. Maybe just a few little pieces on like on a table or something like that. A few things out, maybe a floral arrangement on your table. But we don't decorate crazy like we do. Is this all that's on this one? Well, how many? That's only 4 yards. Well, good thing I didn't need a bunch on that one. So I think that's the reason why in the springtime and the summer I get more sales with my wreaths, because it's really basically only the time of the year that you really only decorate at a minimum. All right, so I'm just gonna grab a pipe cleaner. That's what I use. Fold it in half. And I'm going to grab this up here, bring this up. I'm just going to weave this down through. You don't know how many times I've picked this up out of there and all of my ribbon went boof and it all flipped apart. So if that's happened to you, you're not alone. I've done it so many times. And then I just give it quite a few spins. And when I say I have long tails, look at that. We got some streamers happening with this. Now we are just going to fluff out our bow. Sometimes when I get bigger, I like to, the bigger bows, I kind of will do a cable tie in it. I think this one's going to be okay. Now we're just going to start working our bow. And that just means pulling it out and around. So anybody have any good plans for the weekend? It's supposed to have some snow here in Pennsylvania. I'm so over that already. I mean, I kid you not. I am so over the snow. Yesterday was beautiful. It was like 68 out, sunny. Yeah. Tomorrow it's gonna snow. Well, later tonight actually, it's gonna snow. Saturday it's supposed to snow. Snow showers. I'm sure it's not gonna be a lot, but okay. So now we got this all fluffed out. Let's bring back our swag. And we're going to figure out where our big elements are going to be, okay? Our attachments. All right, so let's see what we have here. Okay, look how pretty that is. All right, so I think I'm going to do that here. I have some pretty big attachments here. I got this adorable beehive, okay, and it's kind of bulky. And I was thinking that it's probably going to be more in, maybe down toward the end of the wreath. And look at this, dude. He is fantastic, this Bumble Bee. Look at him. Tell me this is not gorgeous. Look how big he is. And he is like, looks like he kind of has like crepe paper on him. But look how big. And he's like flexible. So you can mold and shape the wings. Isn't this gorgeous? Gorgeous. And it looks like it's done in like crepe paper. Love him. So let's get him shaped. Hasn't he beautiful, Tina? I was very happy when I got him. And his legs look like they can be moved a little. So we can fan them out, fit them in here nicely. Oh yeah. And it's weird because I actually thought this was going to be a little bit more yellow. It's not. It's okay. So I'm going to bring in some like a orangish yellow, some swirls into this. Okay. I even debated on whether or not, let me get another bee. We will see when we're moving along, because like I said, sometimes I kind of just change out where I'm going to put these things, okay? So now that I got that figured out, I am going to stick them aside. All right, so that I know that they fit in there with my bow. So the next thing that I do is I go through and I start adding my deco mesh, okay? And the deco mesh that I'm going to use is I'm going to use yellow and black. Even though that's black, I need to give it fullness, and that's what I'm going to use. I'm going to use the yellow and black in there to give it the fullness that it needs. And I'm going to cut these at 20 inches. And I'm going to do 12 of them. I'll do 6 and 6. Can I use a rotary cutter for this? Happy Friday. Hello, Cindy. So I'm going to do 6 and 6. 20 inches. 30. And you know, working with deco mesh, it does not have to be an exact science. So this is nice because I actually can get another wreath out of this. That's one of the nice things about the swags. If you can find them, even after the holidays, especially Christmas, the green ones, they're great because they are awesome for filling them with deco mesh and working with them. Even the wreaths, the green, just the green plain wreaths, love them because their branches act as twist ties. So when you use those, you don't need twist ties. You just loop them around your branches. Happy Friday to you, Cindy. Yeah, anybody got any good plans? Like, is there anything happening in your state, your neighborhood? Nothing really happening here, except for it's gonna snow again, which I'm getting so tired of. Okay, so we got this back. Now we're gonna start filling it in. And I'm gonna try to keep some of the yellow toward the outer. I will still mix it and mingle it in here, but a lot of that I would like to keep toward the outer edge. Just because that is going to be more seen. And we're going to do this the same way we do when we do our wreaths. All right. I just kind of roll the end and then I finger walk it up through and then curl that end in again till I get kind of like a bow tie. And then I'm just going to twist tie this in with the ties. Okay, see how I just tied this in? I know it's a little harder to see, so let's do a yellow one. All we're doing is really just adding fullness to the swag. This burlap poly mesh, again like this is really soft, so it's almost like a fabric mesh. And then you're just going to find 2 twist ties and you're going to tie it in. So no need for pipe cleaners. These are acting as our pipe cleaners. Okay, whoops. And then that's all. I'm just twisting it in with what's there. Okay. And this goes quick. I'm only going to do 12 total, so. If you're not in my Facebook group, and you probably don't know, but my first adventure in craftland was wreath decorating. I was 19, and my sister-in-law at that time was, she begged and begged and begged me to go to, she was very crafty, and she was probably about 10 years older than me, and she begged me and begged me to go to this craft class with her. She wanted a buddy to go with, she didn't have no one, and she said, you're gonna love it. Finally, I got tired of her bugging me, and I mean, she was on me bad about it. So I said, okay, I'll go. Well, we made a wreath. And back then, we didn't have supplies like we do now. That was like 30 some years ago. You know, crafting business has come a long way. And yeah, so we went to this craft class, and I still think that it might have been a wire frame, like just a wire loop, and we added some like floral around it, but that was it. I was hooked. I was completely hooked. And that was the start of my crafting adventures. Let's do this. Louisiana. I'll trade you snow for rain. Yeah, I hear you guys are getting rain over there, and I have seen that you've had a bad tornado in Araby, I think it's called. That was horrible. Is this like, oh, I put that in the wrong spot, sorry. Is this like hurricane season, or not hurricane, like the hurricane season that Florida has? Is this like a monsoon kind of season that maybe you guys get? Because I'm not familiar with how Louisiana is. Because Jens gets so much rain. So is this the season for it, or is it just, that's just the nature of your state? Because every time I see, in Texas, I'm like, wow, you know, we considered moving to Texas one time. And I'm glad we didn't, because all I ever see with Texas is flooded. Let me get this. And you know, it's always better to undercut the amount of fabric that you need than to kind of overcut it, because I have bins over here where I've overcut, and I don't know why I never go back to it and refer back to it, but they just kind of sit aside because I'm like, oh, was that 20 inches, da 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 da. But see how I'm doing this? I'm kind of going down the middle, because there's going to be so much in here that's going to be covered. I don't really worry so much about having that kind of peeping through. I mean, you can throw some yellow in there if you would like, but that's just the nature of your state. Ooh, I feel bad for you guys. Yeah, so we were thinking about moving to Texas once. I'm glad I didn't, because every time I turn around, all I hear about is they're flooded. So yeah, Louisiana. Has that just been because of the, Angela, is that just because of like the changing in the weather patterns, or is that just like that has always been? Because I know that, you know, they're saying, of course, the weather patterns have been changing, and they're supposed to be changing even more over the next 30 years. So, you make this look easy. It really is easy, Jen. Seriously, it is. You do it once, you're kind of good. Okay, so I have one extra of these. I'm actually going to, I'll figure it out. I need to cut one more of the yellow. I'm short a yellow. And again, sometimes, you know, my math doesn't always work out. I'll be like, yeah, I'm just going to do this and that, and no. This poly burlap is almost just like that fabric. It might even be the same thing because it feels like it, which I love. It's always been that way. Ugh. And I'm a girl that does not like rain because I don't like flooding. That's always my biggest fear. Like, I have a fear of water. I really do. So, let me throw a black in over here. How about that? Sometimes you'll find a gap where you need something, and I think I just found that. I just, sometimes I'm okay with the rain. Like, I'm just like, yeah, it's a nice rainy day. I don't feel obligated to do anything. That's the one thing about rain. But to have it constantly, it like, this poly burlap might be better off if you were to use a wood burner. As I could see, it's shedding a little. So this might be one of those ones where it's better to use a wood burner when you cut it because it kind of seals itself. All right, so what I'm going to do is this weird wonky tail here, I'm actually going to tuck it back into my wreath And I'm gonna kind of do away with it because it's weird. And ouch, don't push too hard because it's sharp there. Okay, there's something sharp in here I need to cut. There it is. Okay, that's better. Jeez. I don't know what that was, but okay. So here we are. See how I kind of just did the outside? I know it looks weird, but again, we need to kind of just trust this, okay? Trust it as we do it, because in the end, it always works itself out. Okay, my wreath is a little weird, so let's bend that. There we go. It wasn't laying flat. Okay, I'll get that out of the way. Okay, so now that we got our base ready, we are literally going to do our bow. And we know already that we kind of figured out where our attachments, our large attachments, was going to be. So with that being said, I'm going to go in now with my pipe cleaner, and I'm going to attach this into my swag. And with wreath making, you will realize that a lot of attaching is done blindly. And I do mean that. You will feel your way through the mesh, through the greenery to attach a lot of your stuff. Outside of being able to glue things, you're going to do things a lot by feel. Okay, so that's in there. Now that that's secured, I will go back in and I will fluff this bow out again. And you can just, if you wanted to, instead of fluffing it out like I did the first time, you could wait until you just attach it and then fluff it out, because it gets messed up anyways. Okay, so now that we got all of our ribbon fluffed and our bows all fluffed out, as you can see, okay, see, we're moving along. And see how nice and long these are? I mean, they're long. I'd rather have them a lot longer than a lot smaller. Because what we're able to do is, now we're going to go through and I'm going to kind of just start puffing these down so they kind of like poof on the way down, almost like a little waterfall. So I'm just going to choose a few. Let me get some of these moved around in here. Okay. And we don't have to poof them all, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to choose 3 of them. I'm going to choose these 3. They're kind of all together. They're all in like kind of the same line. And I'm going to do my first poof. So I'm just literally going to take these. I'm going to make a poof. And I'm going to twist tie it with one of my branches. Okay. I'm going to try and read here. You just purchased your Pro Easy Bow. I can do the loops and make the bows, and when I go to fluff it, it doesn't look great to me, and you get frustrated. That is a normal thing. You will learn that maybe it's better that you are one of the ones that need to take your bow, put it into or onto your wreath or into your swag, then fluff it, because you can manipulate it, remember. And the best thing that I can tell you is, if you need to use a cable tie instead of a pipe cleaner, which I don't know where mine are. Oh, here they are. Instead of a pipe cleaner, then you may need to do that, okay? And these ones are kind of small. I wish they were bigger. I need to get some larger ones. I got to go to the hardware store. Because the best advice I can give you is you need to have that center super tight. If you can tighten it down as tight as you can and it puckers upward, your bow goes upward and your two ends meet the middle, then that's the perfect tightness you need on your bow. When it's not tight enough, manipulating your bow around, it just doesn't work as well. It doesn't seem, your bow should be able to pucker upward, if that makes sense. I don't know what other word there would be. Then that is what really helps it to really to be able to manipulate it. All right, so let's continue down with this one. We're going to do another loop. Another poof. So really get your bow tight. That center needs to be super tight. I've already had mine so tight that I've actually went and I tore through the fabric, or the actual ribbon itself. I've cut through it. You got to get it to that tightness where it's not going to cut the fabric. And I've only had that maybe one time, and it might have been the bow, the fabric of the bow itself. Other than that, get that bow tight. Okay. Okay, let's see where we're at here. I am going to do 3 over this way. I'm going to kind of separate these. Okay. And that'll really help you to manipulate your bow. So all I'm doing is I'm just taking these long tails and I'm literally just gathering them here where I want them gathered, because I'm going to take them and I'm going to just twist tie them in here. I'm going to find a spot, I'm going to poof it up, and I'm going to twist tie it. Okay, just to give it that poof that it needs. They are below sea level. Yes, they are. That's why when Hurricane Katrina hit and they had a hard time, do you remember when they were having a hard time fixing the seawall? And the water just kept coming in. Okay. So I'm going to do one more poof here, just because I feel it needs it. Okay, so I might do one more. Let me see where we're at here. Yeah, I'm going to stick this one in too. So I did 1, 2, 3 poofs each side. working out. So let me shorten this up. There we go. That's better. Okay. All right, so I know it's hard to see, but let me show you where we're at so far. Okay, so I've poofed my outer edge, all right, as you can see, and then I still have some hanging here, some tails. We're gonna cut those, okay? And then we are gonna cut these in about 2, all right? So let's start trimming these up. We're just going to dovetail these, which I feel that this one is still wonky to me. Needs to be up a little closer. I think that's the problem. Okay, that's better. That's better. Okay, so let's just get dovetailing, and dovetailing simple. You are just going to grab it, you're going to fold it. Let's make this one a little smaller. You're going to fold it, and you're going to do about a 45-ish angle. Depending on how you cut it, it's always from the outside in, or if you need to, it's from the inside out. But, nope, there goes my glasses. This glass holder's about to seen its better days. No pun intended. Okay, so I'm going to cut these ones smaller since the other one's smaller. Okay. Now I'm just going to cut up these ribbons here, okay? Let's see about where we want this. So here's where we're at so far, okay? Look at that, all nice and poofy. Can we see we're giving it some height and some dimension, all right? So now let's go ahead and stick those attachments in, okay? It's already starting to come together. And literally when you add that bow, it really starts bringing life. The bows and ribbons have everything to do with your wreaths, your swags. It literally, if I only had, I didn't have florals, I didn't have attachments, and all I had was maybe a sign and ribbon, you still could make a really nice wreath with just those 2 things. And I have. All of my wreaths up here are just ribbon and deco mesh and a sign. So don't think and don't feel like you need to have everything that a florist has, because you don't. You really don't. All right, So let's see, I want to nestle this in here. So I've got to find a good spot for it. Okay, let me tie this one down really, really tight so we can kind of flatten it in here. Because I think this is where this baby's going. I have my daughter-in-law's mom. She lives in Pensacola, so she's like right beside Louisiana. She's always getting hit with, I think, your overflow. So just to find the right spot sometimes is the battle in itself, okay? I don't want that there. I'm gonna think I want it here, okay? So what I need to do is, I'm gonna flatten this down. And I need to secure this and to attach it, I need to put a, first we're gonna cut this off, the hanger, okay? Because I don't want that on there. I don't need that on there. Wait, this might just pull out. It does, good. Okay. I need to secure this back with a pipe cleaner. And the way I do that is I just use a screwdriver. And I'm literally just gonna poke a hole through this and a hole through that, and I'm gonna put a pipe cleaner in there so that I can be able to get in there and you know what, I'm not going to, because I don't know if I'm going to do it this way. I'll show you an easier way to do it. I'm just going to put a hole in there and a hole over here. And instead of trying to thread this through, because I don't have a bottom to get it through, I'm going to show you how I figure this out. This is how I do it. I'm going to grab 2 pipe cleaners. I am going to fold them in half. And I don't know if you can see this. Let's get this out of the way. But here, ooh, this bad boy's hot. Here is my glue pot. I don't know what I have this on. I must have bumped it because this is hot, hot. Make sure that you, if you're using this around children, please, 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 please be careful, because this thing is massively hot, as well as that battery-operated glue gun. But this is really hot. And you could turn this one up and down. I like it to where it is not... where it's got a little bit of thickness to it. This one seemed like it thinned out. But anyways, where I punch these holes at, I'm literally going to hot glue and attach, I'm gonna stick this in here like this, and it's going to stick in there, and I'm gonna be able to attach this to my wreath. Okay, so we're gonna let that go for a second. Okay, so there we go. See how I just did that? I poked a hole, put my pipe cleaners in, and now this is going to be able to help me to attach to this. And I might even stick one up here because I'm going to need to. I don't know why I don't have some pipe cleaners up here. Keep just reaching down below my table. All right, let me put them up there. So Angela, keep practicing with your bow maker. When I first, listen, when I first got mine, I was probably 2 years, year and a half before I attempted it when I first got it. I was super excited, and I failed at it. So I was like, no, because I knew how to make bows by hand. So to me, it was just quicker and easier than trying to work with that bow maker. But as I've gotten older, like a year and a half has passed, and then I was like, I really need to try this thing out. So what I did was I watched YouTube, and I found 2, 3, 4 different videos, and I kind of just watched how each person did it, because everybody does it different, but all the same, if that makes sense. And I was like, All right, I took a little from here, I took a little from there, and I want to make sure this is totally dried so it doesn't come out. And then when I did that, I was able to figure it out myself and kind of, I watched the video as I was doing it. And then it ended up working. Okay, so now we are going to, I know I kind of want this right here. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to thread this down in. I'm going to take this down in. And let me attach this first one. And sometimes this is the toughest part. This is the battle. You just got the Sure Bonder. I love the Sure Bonder actually. Okay. Let me find out where I can get this through. Again, as always, we just do these blindly. You just gotta kind of work it and do it blindly. The Sure Bonder is beautiful. I love it because it's got different adjustment temperature on it. Where like my glue gun, battery operated. Love it that it's battery operated, and I can take it with me if I need to go places or have something to do. I can take it, but it is one temp, and the temperature they have it set at is, I'm gonna scald your fingers off temp. Because it is so stinking hot that sometimes I scare myself to work with it. I'm afraid to work with it sometimes because it is so hot. Like, I'm gonna burn all your skin off hot. Right. And the Sure Bonder here is really nice because I love a glue pot, first off. And I love that it's adjustable. But if you can't, if you don't want to get that, you can always use, I say that you can use the, like the small 6-inch, I think they're 6-inch electric skillets. And they're adjustable with their heat too. Okay, what am I doing here? Oh, I had them crossed. But with these skillets and the melting pots, you could just throw regular glue sticks in them. You can cut your glue sticks down smaller if you need to and just throw them in pieces. I do that. I do have pellets. I bought it when I bought the Sure Bonder, so I am using pellets, but you can just throw glue sticks right in. I've had a few that I just cut up and stuck them in. They were longer ones and I just stuck it in there. Okay, and then make sure you tuck in your sharp pieces, okay? Did I get this in? No. Okay, let me grab this top and put this down in. Alright. Let me find where I'm at in here. Sometimes the toughest part. Oh wait, I can't go through that. Okay. Let me see if I can attach it to a branch here. I didn't even have my battery operated one from, I think, Lowe's or Home Depot, wherever I got it. I used the second time I used it, literally melted the skin off of my index finger. It is so stinking hot. I am going to twist it crooked because I don't like things, I like movement. I don't always like things straight, okay? So I tend to do movement on my pieces. And this dude is going to go at the top. Look at him. He's going to go up here and sit. So we got to figure out where we're going to put him. Make sure he fits. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to spread his feet out a little so he sits in there a little bit tighter. And I am going to, put a pipe cleaner on his little bee butt. So that's where I can secure him, and then I'm going to do it up like underneath the legs. I like working with these foam attachments because they're easy to be able to attach with just doing this. With just putting the pipe cleaners in and hot gluing them in. It just makes it easier than some of the other ones. Okay, so we're going to let that kind of get set in there. Okay, I don't think I have any more. I was debating on doing 2 bees on this, but I think I'm going to keep that. We're going to keep the hive, even though I was debating on that. 2 would have been nice. I don't know. We're going to work with it. If I ended up, because I'm not crazy in love with this, I just think the color kind of is a little weird to me, but we're going to work with it. And that's the thing. Don't be afraid to put something in, and if you're not loving it, you can always take it away. I've done that so many times. I'm just like, nope, it's not loving. And I'll just take it out. So don't be afraid to do that. So we're going to see, and if we get down to there and I'm not loving it, it's gone. We'll just we'll put the bee down there instead. Okay, so let's get Mr. Bumblebee secured into here. So let me find a spot where I can put him in. Get his little bunny butt stuck in here, or bee butt. I've been working with bunnies, you can tell, huh? And I just kind of take them off the edge of the table so that I can work underneath it when I'm doing attaching stuff. Just makes it a little easier. Okay. He was a little off center here, so let me figure him out where he's at. I didn't attach him correctly. Look, I attached him in here so good, I can't, there we are. Couldn't find him. Get him out. I am going to check and see where I need him again. Okay, he's got to be more down this way. Let me find my area. And here we go. Sometimes this is the hardest part, is getting your attachments in, because you have to find the spots where you need, and I like to attach closer on the swags, and I like to attach on the swags closer to the middle of the frame, because it's the thickest point. Other than that, you just kind of have branches to use, which they can work, but if I'm going to do it, I need it to be a little bit more solid of an attachment. And being to the frame works better. Okay. So that's kind of what when I'm searching for the frame. Because it's more secure. And worse, you don't want to sell this to somebody, or just to even have it outside and someone slammed the door shut and whoop, there goes your bee. You don't want that to happen to a customer. So I always try to secure as best as I can. I don't know what the heat is on in here. I don't even have my heat press on right now, but it is like super hot. Can get his little antennas up. Get him fluffed up here. There we are. And I'll refluff our bow since we mashed it. He's coming along. He's coming along. I'm still not crazy about that hive, but we're going to see. Let me get some of this out here. Okay. He's a big guy, that's for sure. Okay, refluff this bow. Yeah, I'm not. Let's put in some greenery and then we're gonna go from there because this hive might be gone. I'm still not absolutely in love with it. Let me push this up here because I don't want this to touch it. Okay, I'm not, the coloring is a little off to me. Okay, so these are some of the greeneries I think that I'm going to use. I'm going to start with this and put some, little bit of yellow through it. As if it needs yellow, right? But these are nice, and these are kind of like, some are like paper leaves, which I love, but they turn out so wispy once you open them up, because you've seen, I mean, look at it already, it's starting to just get that all fluffed out. It just turns out so pretty and so wispy and so light. Look how pretty that is. And what I'm going to do is I'm literally going to take this apart in sections. If you see, it has like 3 different sections here, and I always pull them apart. I just like to use smaller sections of it. I mean, sure, we could probably wire this in. I've never tried that. Cut it down, wire it in. Maybe we'll do it on the top. Let's try this. I don't even know. I don't even have a big enough cutter here. I'm waiting for a big stem cutter. Still haven't got one. And I don't think I have any bigger cutters here. And maybe that's the reason as to why I don't do it that way. Yeah, this is a lot. Okay, so we're going to do it the way that I normally do it. I'm going to tear off these sections. And literally they are in sections, as you can see. And this is where the green wreath comes in really nicely, is because I literally can glue these in and it will catch the stems of the swag, where Deco Mesh does not really stick to itself with hot glue. It's a hit or miss kind of thing. I try to, when I glue into Deco Mesh, I try to glue into the ribbon tails or ribbon, because then it has fabric to attach itself to. Because Deco Mesh just kind of melts away with when the hot glue hits it. So I'm waiting for a large stem cutter to come. I really need it, because these are the times when I really need the thicker cutter. And I don't even have big cutters here. Okay. All right, so let me see here. I'm gonna stick this first one up in here. I'm just gonna dip that in my glue pot. And I am kind of wiggle it in there so that it kind of holds. It gets into that greenery. And then you gotta kind of let it alone and it will stick. Everybody's so quiet. Are you in deep concentration, or did you flake out on me? Don't worry, I flake out on a lot of videos. I just watch and watch, and then I'll come back and the video will be playing in the background, and I'm like, oh, it's like a soap opera. We just continued where we left off. Okay, so again, I just cut this down. I'm gonna fling this out a little, air this out. I'm gonna do the same on the other side. I'm gonna try to get this bee. That a little under that bee. And then once this kind of, see how now it's attached in here? I think it's still drying a little. Let me add some more glue. Once that's secured itself in there, we're gonna fan it out even a little more. Just to give it some of that wispiness that it needs. You're cooking today. Oh. You're in here taking, I was just joking with you guys. It's just quiet. Everybody's quiet. It's starting to rain outside, so it's a dreary day here. What are you cooking? Anything really good? I am not a cook. Let me message him real quick, let him know I'm on a live. He's the only one that I allow to call through. Okay. Because if I don't allow my husband, this is funny, this is a true story. If I don't allow my husband to call through when I'm on a live, he will get nervous because I'm not answering his phone calls, and he will send my kids down to my shop to see what Mom's doing. I'm like, really? Okay, see how this is all turning out? Kind of starting to get wispy and beautiful. Okay. And that's what we want. So once that has set, I kind of, let me see if I have bigger cutters. I do not. I used to have a pair, and when I moved shops, I probably put them somewhere that I wouldn't forget. You know how that goes. And I can't find them. Okay, I closed you guys out here. There we are. Oh, that cut through nicely. Good. Okay. Cooking a late breakfast. Listen, breakfast is never late because breakfast is good all the time. I am still so not into this. The more I look at it, the more I'm like, I really need to get that out of there. Okay. I am so serious about that because I'm not even thinking that. All right. I'm scrapping this beehive. Is anybody else not loving this? Because it's just, it might have worked better at the top than down here, even though I wanted the bee to be at the top. I am just not in love with this hive. Okay, I'm gonna scrap this one here, and maybe I'll put it in, I'll get some ribbons that maybe work better with it. I'm just gonna cut these ribbons, this secure, because the more I just sit here and look at this thing, I hate it. So again, don't be afraid to, if you're not loving something, change it. Change it out. And that's where we are with this. All right. There we go. And I will just pull that out and reattach later. Okay, I just was so not in love with that. So we're gonna put a bumblebee down there. Because I am loving the bees. Although in real life, I hate bees. But in my decor, they're cute. And I will tell you, bees are a very big seller with wreaths. I don't care if it's bee ribbon, bee wreaths. Bees are a big, big seller. Okay, that one's going this way, so this one is going to go this way. I'm going to have this one down here. Okay, that's much better. Okay, so let's secure his bum, the bee bum, and the head. Careful when you touch so it doesn't. That one right there got me. Yeah, it clashed. I didn't like it either, even though I was trying to bring in that. If I had some different ribbon, but I couldn't even find a tone of that color. I think that that would be great. I think the beehive, maybe with a bee or with a sunflower swagger wreath. That one might work out better. So, it was just weird. Okay, let's thread this down and try to get to the middle of the base here. Where did I get the bees? I think these ones were from Craft Outlet, but I wanted to tell you, I think they're all sold out. And listen, if you're ever doing anything bee, I will tell you this, grab it as soon as you see it. Bees are absolutely one of the first things to sell out every single time, whether it be ribbon, attachments, anything. Bees are always gone. Every single time. So as soon as I see something from a bee, I grab it immediately, including ribbon. These are definitely well loved in the wreath and decorating world. Oh, there's that. Okay. So make sure you grab it as soon as you see it, because it'll fly out the door faster than probably anything that I can probably tell you. That it is, the bees are the first thing to go. Okay, that's much better. Much better, much better. Okay. So now we are going to do what we were originally planning. We were going to put this down here. I'm going to hot glue this in. A little bee butt. My little bee butt. I'm going to probably have to come back around and trim out these ribbons some, which I knew I would anyways, once we get all of the floral in that in, okay? All right. So let me grab another one of these because I would like to add some down around the side. Again, we're just gonna fluff this out, make it all nice and wispy. And I am going to put this in right about there. I'm always trying to find some branches for it to adhere to, because it will absolutely adhere to the branches or ribbon. And when you get it in there, kind of wiggle it so that it kind of gets that glue everywhere. So give it a little wiggle. It's all wild and crazy, but that's kind of how you want it. Because, you know, it just looks more natural. Oop, natural that way. And it fills in a space nicer, so it gives more coverage to the area. Because once it's tucked down in, it doesn't look weird like it does here. Like, that just looks weird to me. But once you tuck it in, it becomes really wispy and it looks like it's just flowing out of your wreath. I really need my stem cutter. The stem cutter I ordered is on back order. So I'm crying the blues because I really need one. All right, I am going to put this one, I don't want to do it there. I'm going to find an open spot over here that I want to have this. And I think, I know I put one here already. I'm wondering if I should just add down and along here. Again, you know, wreath making is just a process of where do I want to put the stuff? And you kind of just look around and start filling in where you think that you need some color or some fill. And believe me, you will need to pick up your swag several times and look at it to see where you want it. I know I already have one down here, but do I want to add a little more? That's already long enough down there. Maybe I'll add some greenery down there. All right, I'm going to put it over here. Really trying to get it in there to get into the greenery. Okay. Now I have some of these ferns, and I have some of this greenery, which is almost just like this. It's very wispy. I think what I'm going to do is, though, I am going to just add some of these ferns because they're very wispy and I love how wispy they are. So let's do that. And if you're new to wreath making and you don't really know, you're not sure about your placement, whether you're doing a grapevine wreath, a deco mesh wreath, or a swag like this, cut your wreath in half. This is how I started when I learned. Cut your wreath, cut your swag in half. And what you do on one side, mirror it on the other. That's called a symmetrical wreath swag. Here, let's put this under here. It's not sticking there. And that just, it's a beginner's way. When my very first class I took, when I actually decided to go and get a certificate, because I have a certificate in floral design, that was the very first class we learned, okay? We learned how to do a symmetrical design because it was the easiest way to teach somebody that what you do on this side, you can also do on that side. And then the wreath turned out perfect. When you start getting into asymmetrical designs and things like that, That's when it becomes a little tricky on keeping your balance. But this is an easy way to do it. So start out doing that and then work your way up from there. Because if you're going to go to any design school, any floral design school, I took a certificate at my local community college about 12, 15 years ago, probably even longer than that, maybe 20 years ago. And that's how they taught us. They taught us to do symmetrical, for the simple fact being of that reasoning. It was just easier to work it knowing that what you did on one side was on the other. So you were really only thinking about, how am I going to fix this one side? Because the other side's going to look exactly the same. And I remember when we did even floral arrangements that were like table arrangements and things like that. I'm just cutting these down a little so you could see each ribbon. That you were able to, she had us do only one side of our wreath when we first started doing. And I was like, why are we just doing one side of the wreath? That's weird. Well, it was because she wanted us to learn how to do a symmetrical design. So once we finished this one side of our wreath, because we worked on a wreath and a table arrangement. I remember we did both in that same class. And whatever we did on one side, then after we were done, we came back and she had us do on the other side. And it worked out nicely. Oh, what am I trying to do here? Where are my scissors? Table some around here. All right, so this is the last of the ferns that I have. So I got to be very choosy on where I'm going to put them. Okay, let's have one kind of, no, there's too much down there happening. So let's put, since we did some down below, let's try and put something up here. Maybe one up here. How about that? Okay. And if I was to do this, let me see. So, you know, you can do your whole kind of wreath and don't secure it all right away, and then that way you can figure out, do you like it enough to secure it or not. So let's get, now that these are all secured in, let's start wisping them up. And then I'm going to put two over here on the sides, and I think we're going to be done. One over here and one on the other side. And then we'll be done with these ferns. All right. And remember, you also want some dimension. So you want to build not just everything flat and on the outer edge. You want to build in and around so things are sticking up too. Because you don't want kind of a flat arrangement. You definitely want things to start coming upward. See how I'm starting to build up as well. This was facing the wrong way, so let's fix that. Let's see if I can find, yes, some greenery. Okay, so I'm going to go around. I am going to trim down some of these ribbon. Now that I see where things cover it, if I can find my scissors. I know I hear them. Do we not have scissors? How did I lose my, oh, I put them away. So now that I know where all of my stuff's landing, I'm going to trim these down a little because they don't need to be that long in some areas. And when you do finish this, and you, like if you were to do your arrangements, and then make sure you always get a picture of them. I've been doing a lot more pictures of me holding them, and as you can see, if you go and look at my pictures, I kind of cut myself off the neckline. They don't need to see me. They don't need to see me. And half the time, this is not how I want people to see me when I'm advertising my products. But hold your arrangements or put it next to something for scale, because if I post this, you are not going to know that this thing is 36 inches long just by a photo. You could think that maybe it's only 18 inches long, and then you get it, and in reality, it's 3 foot long. So I like to hold my items, and I take all my photos outdoors. My best time where I'm at my shop, I usually is around 2. So that time's going to be coming up between like 2 and 5. The way the sun is not facing on my building, and it's not, the pictures turn out bright, I don't really have to edit them much. So, but hold your items or set them next to something so people can get a good idea of how big it actually is, okay? Because that's hard to see. How much would I sell this for? This is probably, honestly, it's probably be, I'd have to figure it out, but I think I probably would sell this around $125, $150. I'd have to check to see how much, and make sure you have a count on your product, how much you've used in it. Okay, see, like I'm testing all these. These are all nice and secured. Okay. And then the last thing, I'm going to add a few of these swirlies in there. I am going to use those just because they're a different color. And I like how you can manipulate these wings on this one, on these bees. Okay, I gotta get this shorter because it keeps covering his antennas. And I'm gonna get one more of the yellow flowers. So make sure when you are doing your wreath, whatever you're doing, make sure that you keep count of all of the product you use, because that's very important, okay? Very, very important. You need to know how much product's in it before you can even begin to even think about how much you've used. I don't want to cover too much of that bee, but I need some green in here. I need something in here. There's kind of some dead space in here. I'm going to check this first before I even think about it. Yes. Okay. All right, I'm going to put that down in there because there's dead space. And I don't want that dead space in there. And then once you get your material together, make sure you have an account for how much did that material cost you. And you, at a minimum, charge double, if not triple, okay? Sometimes when you look at it and you're like, I can't get triple out of that. And I know I got a lot of material in this. So this is going to be a little bit on the higher end. But it is a big swag. Okay. And then we might have to manipulate some of the flowers so that you can still see your bee. But I'll wait for that to totally dry. I'm not sure if I really want these in there or not. You know what? I don't think I want those ones. Oh, I have the black and white ones here. I think I'm going to go with just 3 of these since my ribbon has a black and white in it. Oh, maybe not. Let me see. Let me just get an idea on if I even want these in there. Let me cut this down a little. All right, I'm going to end it. I'm going to put these ones in and then I'm going to be done with it. I'm not going to put no more into it. Don't want to get it on that. Well, this is not sticking here, and I don't know why. Okay, I'm going to let that dry for a minute. It doesn't seem like it's sticking very well. And I have it on a branch, so I don't know. We'll have to wait for it. Let that dry for a minute. Okay, kind of refluff our bow, go back through it. Pull out those tails, pull out those tails. Again, don't be afraid to chop them down if you need to chop them down. Is there a specific store I get them from? Try Craft Outlet. I buy so much stuff off of Craft Outlet. From my mesh to my ribbon to just about everything. I buy so much stuff off of Craft Outlet. And they're really good with keeping a lot in stock of their stuff. All right, so now let's just fluff out some of this in here. Okay. That's it, guys. That is it. I'm wondering. Let me see. There we go. Look at this. I will get a better picture of this when it's all said and done here, but look at how pretty. She's a purty. And I kept this one with black and yellow. You know, you could throw in some other colors. Reds are pretty when they're thrown in with the black yellow. Can we all see that? And you could see the height and the depth of it. So it looks good from all sides and all angles. Okay. And now don't be afraid, that's when you can go around now and you can just start fluffing out since everything's adhered in here now. You can go back through, you can fan out your ribbons so that you can see all of the colors. I like to finger, like roll them, so that like when you just take a wire ribbon and you kind of just do this, it kind of curls it nicely. So I kind of like to do that all around. Get on my ribbon nicely, especially when you go to photograph. Make sure your ribbon looks nice. That's a big pet peeve of mine. I will go through and I will look and I'll be like, oh, my ribbon was messed up. You want the ribbon to, because your ribbon is, it really is a focal point on your swags, on any of your floral. It's the ribbon. It's the ribbon. If you don't have nice ribbon, it's just not going to work. And nice meaning it doesn't have to be $60 a roll. Most of my ribbon, honestly, is $10 and under. That's why I love Sam's Club. When I'm saying nice ribbon, I mean it's got to have they got to match. Your ribbon's got to match in your, it has to match. It just has to work for your design. So you got to make sure that you coordinate your ribbons and they got to look nice. You just got to present them nicely in your swag or your whatever you're working on, okay? And if you see over here, I had a little bit of a hole. All I did was fluff up. And this is where that deco mesh really helps because now I just fluffed it in here and it's fine. It doesn't look like there's a hole with, I'll show you. Because it looks like I filled it in with deco mesh. Right here, I could put some floral in there if I wanted to. But now you're gonna peep through and see the deco mesh. You're not gonna see the black swag in there. So it kind of filled that in. All right. Here we go, guys. Ladies and gents, there we are. Look at that. How big is this? Okay. So I'm going to add up all of my supplies. I'm going to go through, I'm going to add that up. And then I'm going to price it then. I am going to put this for anybody who is interested in purchasing it. I'm going to put it in my Etsy shop. It will be for sale. And then shipping's always free with my wreaths. So it'll be in my Etsy. And if you're interested in it, and I buy a lot of things this way, especially the more expensive items, you can use Klarna in Etsy, which makes it nice because you can break down your payments into 4 payments. And I want to say it's over 8 weeks. It's like every 2 weeks you get billed for it. And I love Klarna. I use it all the time in Etsy because like not long ago, maybe like a year or 2 ago, I purchased custom made curtains. I was looking for a black and white buffalo check for my kitchen and dining room. So I had a slider and a bunch of windows. Well, they were custom made, so they were expensive. I'm not even gonna lie to you, they were real expensive, but I couldn't find what I was looking for anywhere. And one day I was just searching through Etsy, and then there was a lady on there, and she made custom curtains. I still have them hanging in my kitchen, but I used the Klarna because they were expensive. I think for all, now I had a lot of windows and I had a slider. For everything, it was like around $800. That's a lot of money for curtains. I almost couldn't justify it myself, but I could literally not find curtains that would fit every one of my windows. I had 2 odd-sized ones, and then I had a big slider. And the slider, of course, that's always more money. And curtains aren't cheap anymore. So what I did was I used the Klarna on it. And I got glue on my mat. And I broke my payments down over to, I think it was 2 months. It might even be a little longer than that. I don't remember because I use it so much. I do. I use it quite often because I buy a lot of stuff on Etsy. I support a lot of other small business owners. And I use it a lot. So if you want to purchase any of the bigger ticket items, you know, it's always there for you. All right, I am going to go outside in between the raindrops. It's not raining heavy, so I need to get out there. I'm going to get a picture of this. I am going to post it up in my Etsy. And if you want to purchase it, you can. Okay? Yeah. Look how big and look how full. Can you see that? Those bees are beautiful. Beautiful. Can you see that? Okay, so that's it. I'm gonna go do this. I'm gonna get back to work. I got some orders to fill today. And if you're not a subscriber here on the channel, just hit that red button underneath that says subscribe. If you are into sublimation, Glowforge laser cutting, or wreath decor, floral design, you can join my Facebook group. I will link that down below as well. If you hit the subscribe button, I'm almost positive it'll let you know every time I go live. If you want to join my groups over there, you can. I will also do a link to my TikTok. I am trying to also be able to get over there and do some lives where I can work over on TikTok as well. So, alrighty. All right, everybody have a great start to your weekend, and I hope everybody's weekend is wonderful, and you be blessed.